CQ RAYNET, CQ RAYNET. This is Golf 4 November Romeo Charlie, operated today by Greg, Golf 0 Delta Uniform Bravo, serving as net control for the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net. This net meets each Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time and is open to all amateur radio operators interested in emergency communications. The primary purpose of the net is to provide opportunity for members to test equipment, exchange traffic, news, opinions and information. Additional information on RAYNET can be found at www.raynet-uk.net. This is a directed net, which means all calls are made to the net control station unless you are instructed otherwise, and all RAYNET UK operators are invited and encouraged to check into the net. When you do check in, please announce your call sign slowly and phonetically, followed by your name, and if you wish to leave the net immediately after chatting in, then please call in and out. Otherwise, if you want to leave after subsequent turns, please make it clear if you want to check out at that time. After I've heard a few check-ins, I'll repeat who I've heard. If you're not acknowledged, then please try again. And if you miss your turn to call in, I will be calling for strays after the UK and international sections. So I'll now begin taking check-ins to the RAYNET UK weekly activity net, as usual in call sign number order. So any stations with figure 8 in their call sign wishing to check in, please call now. This is G4RC. GJ8AVL, Peter.
Golf 8 Echo Yankee, G8 EEY, name is Mike.
This is G4RC. I've got Peter, Golf Juliet 8, Papa Victor Lima, and Mike, Golf 8, Echo Yankee. Any other 8s, please? G4RC, over. G4RC, nothing heard. Let's go for 7. The station's figure 7 in that call sign, please go ahead. G4RC, over.
Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Good afternoon, Greg.
Golf 7 November Echo Hotel, G78. Good afternoon, Greg. G4RC, I'm going to take them in the order I saw them on screen. So Graham, G7NEH, good afternoon. Your first call was clipped, got you on the second go. And Dave, Mike 7, Alchemist, Victor Oscar, coming in via your hotspots. Any other 7s, please? G4RC, over. Then it's time for 6s. Station figure 6 and their call sign, please. G4RC, over. Golf 6, Papa Delta Echo. PD, in and out, please, Greg. G4RC, good afternoon, Chris. Golf 6, Papa Delta Echo, in and out. Any other 6s, please? G4RC, over. G4RC, nothing heard, so it's the 5. Stations figure 5 in their call sign, please. G4RC, over. G4RC, still at many 5s, let's go for 4. Stations figure 4 in their call sign, please. G4RC, over.
G4NRC, G4AJ, Trevor in Watford. G4 KIL 30. I'm sussing in and out, good today.
G4NRC, good afternoon, Trevor. G4 KJ, who's already typing away into the log, and Philip Golf 4 Kilo India Lima. Copied you in and out. Your transmission is a little bit broken at times though, so we've got it all in the end. Any other fours, please? G4NRC, over. G4NRC, nothing heard, so let's have 3. Stations figure 3 in their call sign, please go ahead. G4NRC, over.
Golf 3, Zulu Hotel X-Ray, Ian.
Echo India 6, India Zulu Bravo, John Ireland.
This is G4NRC, acknowledging Ian, Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-Ray, and out of sequence, John, Echo India 6, India Zulu Bravo. Acknowledge John, normally call for internationals at the end of this section. Anyway, you're on the list. Yeah, you've got to throw people's minds off by appearing partway through. Good afternoon to you. Any other 3s, please? G4NRC, over. G4NRC, nothing heard, so let's have 2. Stations figure 2 in their call sign, and that's you, intermediate 2s. Please call now. G4NRC, over. G4NRC, nothing heard from the 2s. Let's have one more go. Any 2 stations figure 2 in their call sign, any intermediate 2s, please call now. G4NRC, over. G4NRC, nothing heard. 1. Stations figure 1 in their call sign, please. G4NRC, over. G4NRC, second call, any stations figure 1 in their call sign, please go ahead. G4NRC, over. G4NRC, then here we go. Let's have Mike 0 stations of any regional identifier, please call now. G4NRC, over.
M0, JSA.
G4NRC, good afternoon, Alan. Mike 0 Juliet Sierra Alpha. We normally do better than that for Mike 0 as well. Any other Mike 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, please? G4NRC, over.
Mike India 0, Mike Sierra Oscar, Philip in Northern Ireland.
Mike India 0, Mike Sierra Oscar. Good afternoon, Philip. Let's go for Golf 0 stations. Golf 0 stations then of any regional secondary identifier, please call now. G4NRC, over.
Golf Whiskey 0, Juliet Lima X-Ray. Good afternoon, Greg. My name is Andy. RAYNET temperature. No traffic today, so in and out, please. Over.
G4NRC, good afternoon, Andy. Golf Whiskey 0, Juliet Lima X-Ray, in and out. Right, skipping a step slightly. Any UK stations who've missed their turn to call in, please call now. G4 and RC, over.
Golf 8 Kilo Lima Charlie, late on parade, my apologies, but we'll be in and out quick. G8 KLC.
2 Echo 0 Charlie Mike Sierra, calling from Midway.
Golf 8 Sierra Delta Uniform, oh, in and out.
G4 and RC is a better than something good on the TV. Right, so that's Phil, Golf 8 Kilo Lima Charlie, in and out. 2 Echo 0 Charlie Mike Sierra, Colin staying with me. And Bob, good afternoon to you. Golf 8 Sierra, not uniform, in and out. Okay, do we have any international liaison stations? That's usually Nord-Samband of Norway, Aron in Ireland, Aries in Slovakia, Aron in Slovenia. Any international liaisons, please? G4 and RC, over.
Yeah, India 5, India Echo Bravo, common Dublin here, no traffic for me, so in and out.
Echo India 5, India Echo Bravo. Good afternoon, Tom. Nice to hear you and copied in and out. Okay, last call for any strays, UK or international. Anybody missed their turn to call into the RAYNET-UK activity period, please call now. This is G4 and RC, over.
G0 OF wirelessing. Two Echo 1 Golf Delta Foxtrot, in and out.
G4 and RC. Good afternoon, Eddie. Golf 0 Oscar Foxtrot Yankee. You say listening, so a question for you. Are you staying with me or just listening? So in and out. Before I move on to the next one. G0 OFY, G4 and RC, over.
Yeah, I'll hang around for a few minutes if that's okay, Greg.
G4 and RC, I'll take that in and out then. And 2 Echo 0 Golf Delta Foxtrot. Sean, didn't copy your intentions. G4 and RC, over.
Two Echo 1 Golf Delta Foxtrot. Yeah, in and out today, in and out, thank you.
G4 and RC, thanks for that. 1% of the RAYNET membership as usual. So, good afternoon everybody. Today's net is being live streamed by Graham, G7NEH, to YouTube. Here's live stream and recording are available by searching G7NEH, that's Golf 7 November Echo Hotel, on YouTube and looking at the Streams tab. Now, as you might have seen in the RAYNET newsletter, the Committee of Management met last Friday and as part of the business of the evening discussed the venue and contents for the rearranged AGM. The EGM and AGM will now take place on Sunday, 7th of January 2024 at 10:30 a.m. at the CSSC, Charlie Sierra Sierra Charlie, Sports and Leisure, Bristol, at Filton Avenue, Horfield in Bristol, that's Bravo Sierra 7, 0 Alpha Tango. Revised EGM and AGM agendas along with new proxy forms and calling notices will be issued early next week. The requests on last week's net wasn't here for a meeting about the Amateur Radio Emergency Data Network, or ARDEN, are noted. I've asked Steve, T4EKM, if he could help me, and we'll let you all know when we get something sorted out. I'm guessing the need is for the why and how for starters, because I don't think this is something we'll get all in one call. Thanks also for the information last week that others have done okay with the Whiskey Zero Charlie Hotel Papa hotspot software. Graham, G7NEH, has come up with the same wrinkle I did in setting the software up for the RAYNET server, so now we know it's consistent. We'll finalise some words and add them to the website. And in overseas news, Hamnet in South Africa got involved in the search for an emergency locator beacon transmitter earlier this month, eventually traced to a unit incorrectly disposed of as a waste site. So I wonder if anybody remembers the same request being made at Jersey RAYNET just a few months ago. So with that, let's sit and see what news we've got from everybody else. To you, Peter, for the service and water. Golf Juliet 8, Papa Victor Lima, G4, and I'll see you.
Yes, good afternoon, Greg, and everybody else on frequency this afternoon. Not a great deal to report. Jersey, unfortunately, is still trying to put itself together again after the storm and the tornado that we had. And it was so bad that some of the houses that got hit by the tornado are going to have to be completely demolished and rebuilt again. There's virtually nothing left of them. Even the walls have come down on some of the houses. And there's still dozens and dozens of trees everywhere that's down in all the fields. I think all the roads are open though. We had a little bit of damage on our club, Jersey, which is an old German bunker. And some of the one of our materials came down completely on the tower. So we've repaired as much 20, 14, 80 metres luckily. So we've got the aerials one working again. Also, unfortunately, I didn't hear anything. There was some data on the on one of the frequencies. I think it was a 3663, but nothing else heard on 40 metres there. So just thought I'd let you know that I was listening, and have listened in a couple of times actually, but nothing heard there. I'll pass it back to you, G4 NRC from GTA 8 PVL in the group.
Juliet 8, Alex Lima, G4 NRC returning. Okay, right, property damage, yes, very bad and sad news. Any island, I imagine, suffers when properties come out of service quite that quickly, and thinking about other comments people have made about Iceland, for the town evacuated there for the volcano, where they seem to have displaced about 1% of their population on short notice. So totally appreciate the damage and disruption it's going to cause. Glad to hear you got your antennas back in service though, or most of the key ones that matter. Yes, the frequencies for HFNet do move. So on the 1st and 14th of the month, the net is on 40-80 metres as the starting frequencies, and on the 7th and 21st it's 60 metres, usually 5.2785. But in the evenings, where propagation doesn't support it, obviously 40 metres isn't going to work. 40 metres shuts pretty much around sundown for some other stuff now. So we were down in the 3663 area, and as I recall, I think there was a bit of a something taking place that day, so it's nice to hear some stuff around the net. So thanks for listening. Yes, that's the running order. 2 nets a month on 80 and 40, 2 nets on 60 metres, and obviously starting on 60 metres. And the net on the 28th will be a non-voice net, and that means this Tuesday it's likely to be on or around 3663, but using data modes or CW in that vicinity. Right, next to Mike, Golf 8 Echo Yankee, G4, and I'll stay over.
G4NRC from G8EEY. Good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon, all. The weather from Norfolk at the moment is 3.3 centigrade, 1013 millibars, 90% relative humidity, and 100% cloud cover. Light 5.6 mile an hour winds and 208 degrees. We've gone through a period of 7 flood warnings and alerts. I know Essex had an alert and a standby in Malden. We didn't get any calls, which is interesting, because as you may have seen on the news, a good 4-metre slice of Hemsby is no longer there. It's on the beach, including the coast road that was on top of it, and there is now risk to the lifeboat station. Also, some similar sort of mayhem in Lowestoft, with roads disappearing onto the beach. We've actually got confirmation that we've got the long-distance walkers 50-mile race in February 24. They've issued a challenge this year. They've moved their control and in start and finish places to a different school in Sheringham, which is the wrong side of the Holt Road Bridge. So we're talking through to even get out of controls anywhere on the route by the looks of it. And an interesting emergency services times resilience following Arwen webinar. There were a few people on from RAYNET and quite a few from other departments, and it was all quite interesting. From G8 EY.
Golf take over for Yankee G4 and RC. Yes, Trevor's watching my struggling trying to keep up with you, but I think I did the best I could there. He will confirm later. Work got in the way of actually attending the Emergency Service Times webinar after the looking at the learning from Solar one. I've got the feeling we've got a lot more learning to come back. LDWA, when did organisers ever pick anything useful for us to easy radio life? As if it was easy. And the other one was a 6 on standby. Yes, I did note that. So I think it was a combination of heavy rains and storm surge coming up, so a bit of a low pressure area passing over. But I think they were only on standby for 3 or 4 hours, which at least, as you say, they do get asked. Right, let's find out how our viewership's going. G7 and the H, G4 and RC over.
G4 and RC, G7 and the H. Good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon to all on the net. So our views for last week were down a bit, actually. 21 views in total. And the week before last was 53 views and 5 likes. I am streaming the audio again today using the SDR Play and SDR Connect. So freeing for radio. And those of you who want to, if they head over to the YouTube channel, G7 Ham Radio, and go to the community tab, I've just put a little poll on there, just whether you like the audio the way it is or the way it was with just connecting the radio to the PC. I put it on last week, nobody's filled it in yet, so just have a go. It's totally anonymous, and just give me an idea. So there we go. Those of you watching the YouTube channel will see that the WX dashboard is slightly different today. More about that on the next round. As Greg said, I've been updating the software. So back to you, Greg. G4 and RC from G7H.
G7 G4 and RC. Okay, thanks, Graham, and thanks for doing the YouTube streaming. So, yes, your YouTube site, I think it's fairly plainly laid out. You can search your site, then all the tabs are available towards the top third of the page, at least, to see what's what. And as Graham alludes to, he's been updating the repeater. I've still been beating my head against this Radio Odyssey GD25-D radio. And I've come across a weird one where I can't actually work Graham's repeater, which is my most local, but I can hit every other DMR repeater around. So there's something very curious about the sensitivity of the Radio Odyssey set and the path between Graham and I, which is quite freaky. So apologies for those who thought it was a quiet Sunday this morning, but Graham and I were actually just testing out what was working and what wasn't. Right, next to Dave, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4 and RC over.
G4 and RC, Mike 7 Alpha Victor. Good afternoon, Greg. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone is well. Yeah, just looking at the screen on the YouTube. Yeah, it's all nicely laid out, nice and plain. And that's what I will probably explain to us shortly. Yeah, I like it very much. It's lovely. W0CHP, that's my next project, probably tomorrow with the dual band duplex hotspots that I've got and the Pi 3 or 4, which is sat next to me and hasn't been done yet. So I said to Graham on the phone, I was talking to him the other day, I'm going to give it a try with the W0CHP. So proud of you. Brace yourselves for some messages on the WhatsApp perhaps tomorrow evening. But we'll see if we can get that up and running. I've got a day off tomorrow, so I'm going to spend some time tinkering here. Back to you guys, Mike 0, Mike 7, Alpha Victor Oscar.
Now, Victor Oscar, G4 and RC returning. Okay, right, glad to hear you're going to do the duplex hotspot with the Pi 3. If anybody's contemplating using W0CHP software on their hotspots, it does need more than a Pi 0 to run effectively. So you're looking at a Pi 02W plus, I've quite lost track, but not your regular Pi 0. I think a Pi 3 will do it off the top of my head, but I don't have any of those lying around either. So, yeah, good luck with it, Dave, and we look forward to the messages. When it comes to integrating the RAYNET-UK server with it, the block of code that you get told to insert into your DMR setup, don't put it on the end of the file as described. Put it after all the other DMR networks. Graham and I have both found if you put it last, then it gets ignored by the software. You have to put it up with the rest, and then it recognises what it should be looking for. But we can talk that through as we need to. Right, over to my logger, G4KUJ, G4 and RC over.
G4 and RC in the group, G4KUJ. Yeah, good afternoon, Greg and everybody else. Been quite busy this week, out and about, so I've done much of the break. Apart from just check occasionally that the QO100 system is still working well on voice and data. I mentioned last week that the free and I has been not sure why that dropped out. Yeah, the tunnel between you and I has been running let's try this route, see if that's any better. Okay, coming via Brandmeister now. The tunnel is working well between you and I. Two other local stations have got themselves some small routers so they can set up a couple of nodes. And the aim is that we're going to join those into my station with a couple of tunnels, so we can get to find out how it works and look at putting services on, and then think about the RF side later on. But that's all going well at this end. Back to you, G4NRC, G4KUJ.
G4KUJ, G4NRC returning. Okay, yes, I was wondering if I was telepathy. I'm doing the log and typing in brackets packet loss when things before departed there. More solid coming in through Brandmeister for some curious reason on that one, Trevor. Order Kilo 100 still working. That's the memory jogger I needed. The World Radio Conference is currently ongoing in the Middle East. Two sources of news you can go for that. One is the RSGB website, and the other, of interest to anybody that runs 23 centimetres particularly, is the IARU Region 1 website at www.iaaru-r1.org. It's taken some battering to get a agreed position for us to continue to have some access to 23 SEMs in light of strong opposition from people who run GPS satellites, specifically Galileo for the Europeans and the Chinese and the Russian ones, all of which sit in 23 SEMs. So detailed information on the IARU website. Now the battle is whether or not this is made mandatory or whether it's left to local administrations to decide how much protection to give to GPS. So just have a look at those websites if you use anything up in the microwave areas. Okay, next to Ian, Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-Ray, G4 and RC over.
G4NRC in the group, this is G3ZHX. Good afternoon all. Yes, as I commented on an email that came around a few days ago, at least the current suggestion of reduction in power, at least it's output power and not EIRP. That could have been fairly disastrous. I noticed on an LF column in RACOM that somebody has got a fairly inefficient aerial and he's putting out a lot of power to drive it. And whilst he could improve his aerial, he'd have to reduce his transmitter power to stay within the limits, so it's not a worthwhile change. And the same thing could happen there. Right, with that, I will... Oh yes, and the new interface. I'm not sure I like it. I'm not very keen on these nighttime all-black fascias. Perhaps you have the opportunity to change it. In any case, given that I don't have a Pi 3 handy at the moment, there's no point in me changing to that either. So I will wait and see what develops. So from that, G3ZHX, back to everybody.
Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-Ray, G4 and RC. Okay, yes, there's a definite tendency on things being dark mode now, as it's christened. I'm equally not too sure about it. I first came across it, though, at an emergency services show a couple of years BC, that's before COVID, when it was the thing for control room displays, and looking at a relatively recent new one, equally in dark mode. The human factors people have some ideas. I've got to admit I haven't browsed around to see if I can change it to be gaudier or brighter myself. 23 SAM suggestions, lower power is okay. There are bits on the ARU site that say that the required power is so low that it's hardly effectively eliminates amateur operation. But I remember a Radcom article a few more months ago where somebody was using milliwatts of 23 SAMs and showing you could still do a bit of hill topping with it. So I think it's just a challenge for us to deal with. We don't want to lose more of the band than we have to, especially given its usefulness for tunnel comms and stuff like that. Right, we've got 4 stations to go. Let's go across the water the other direction. John, Echo India 6, India Zulu Bravo, G4 and RC over. Echo India 6, India Zulu Bravo. Echo India 6, India Zulu Bravo. G4 and RCO. G4 and RC. Nothing further heard from John, so I'm not sure if he's an Aaron member or not then. Next, Alan. Mike 0, Julie Alpha. G4 and over.
Yeah, good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon, everybody. Nice to hear a good spread. Haven't heard Peter for a while up in Scotland. I don't know if he's well or off air or... There you go. Hopefully, if you speak to him, Greg, give him all the regards. It's always miss hearing what the weather's up to in Aberdeen. Nothing much happened here in East Suffolk, really. Yes, I did see the flood alerts for Cornwall and Pakefield, the Lotus Pakefield. With some interest, because my in-laws used to have a cottage on the cliffs there, the opposite side of the route to the one they've just demolished, and the opposite side of the route is just now fell in the sea. It's been long sold, of course. I remember going to visit them down the steps onto the beach, which have now been washed away. So yeah, I know the area quite well. Interestingly, they found a bomb as well when the cliffs got washed away. A bit further north to the big pond was washed out of clear. There's pop-up. Alert all here to be on standby. We did get the first, of course, because the rivers around us were deemed to be high, or going to be high. We didn't actually get put on standby. So I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not, but there you go. Back to you, Greg. G4NRC, M0 JSA, Suffolk.
Juliet Sierra Alpha, G4 and RC returning. Okay, yes, you've just linked for a saw, but that bomb had been healed by a landslip. Now it's all starting to tie together. There's a comment about no requests to go on standby, even though rivers were high. I apologise for how insensitive this pun might look. It's when people call these rising tide incidents that you know something's happening, and it is just generally going to happen slowly and in slow time. So they just say, yeah, we can plan for it, and all the preparations get put in place. There's not really many surprises in the rising tide incident. So maybe that's the reason. Okay, Philip next. Mike India 0, Mike Sierra Oscar, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC, MI0 MSO, good afternoon everyone. Just first about the audio on the feed, I didn't really pay much attention to that last week, so sorry, can't answer that question. Good to hear the AGM has been rescheduled, AGM/EGM, and within a short period of that being announced on the news on Friday, bookings were made and accommodation or travel on the far side. And just for information, there's at least 7 coming over from School 11 grade, but you may already know that. We'll do our best to get things over the course. Yes, that will be interesting. Don't know what format that's going to take or whatever. We're progressing well over here with our Arden, and I have that meeting rescheduled for this Wednesday, which reminds me I must get my PowerPoint presentation finished, because they're interested in Arden. Well, they're interested mainly in Starlink, but what we will provide for them is an Arden network link via Starlink, so we'll see how that goes on Wednesday. I'll report back maybe next week. That's all for now, Craig. Maybe something else to add for the next round. Back to you from MI0 MSO.
India 0, Mike Sierra Oscar, G4 and RC returning. Okay, good if you're bringing a crowd over from the EGM, AGM. There's some other G4NRC might tend to have flaky audio. Yeah, good, you're getting a crew to come over for the EGM, AGM, but some of us won't be able to make that date, but it has been picked to hopefully get a decent local crowd out as well, so that the Mem-and-Arts hiccup that meant people had to be physically present to the point of being able to have their pulses checked can be removed as well, so we don't have any handicaps for totally online meetings or hybrid meetings going forward, provided everybody can hear and see each other. That is still the Charity Commission's and the Court's line. Everybody should be able to hear and see what's going on. So, thanks for doing that and making the effort. The Arden meeting, I've got a sense of deja vu that this is something I spoke about at an AGM with Spring Convention a while ago, because there are already challenges coming back. Shred has commented, people with why do all this if it's just going to be run through tunnels. But if you know how to set your Arden networks up and you can put services on them, then when you stop being everything in a tunnel and bring everybody together physically in one place, then everything will just work together. You've taken all the clashes out in the same way as we've done with DMR over time. But everybody's now using their own local talk groups, even if they're using them simplex, I hope. So it doesn't need the server to be there. We already know what talk groups to go on, and it will just work as well simplex as it would over repeaters and things. Right, as you say, sure there'll be more next time round. Colin has the joy of being
from 20 CMS. Yeah, afternoon all. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what. Didn't appear on the list, so I had to swap over for Brandmeister and get caught up in the sectors. But never mind. I'll have to look into that after the net. What's happened? Last week was quite good. We had the Kent Association of Local Councils presentation, which went very well. I think there was about 80 odd representatives there from councils all across Kent, and I suppose we probably spoke to about half of them. Loads of leaflets given out, lots of interest in Starlink, lots of interest in voice over internet, lots of interest in radio and drones, and they had a good look around the control vehicle as well. So it was a good weekend and well worth getting up for. Plus they gave us lunch as well, so that was quite good. Other than that, not too much to report. I've had some frustrations this week with my Anytone D878 UV2 Plus radio. For some reason, it wouldn't connect to any of those hotspots. I could hear the hotspots of the radio. In fact, I could actually use the radio to another radio and hear it, but it wasn't getting into the hotspots. I complete reboot, did a complete firmware upgrade. I rewrote the code plug, reflashed it several times, still didn't work. Eventually I logged on to a forum and read a thing about offsets. So, eventually read a thing about offsets and put in a 280 Hertz offset in the radio, and now it's finally working. But anyway, I think that's done it for me. G4NRC 20 CMS.
Charlie Mike Sierra, G4NRC. Okay, fine, that's interesting. You're giving me something to think about now. So, when you say 280 Hertz offset in the radio, is it in the radio or is it in the hotspots? Because it's usually the hotspots, because we've got the weaker oscillators that are anywhere, give or take a few 100 Hertz. I tend to make the hotspots match what the radio wants with the radio to try and fix one hotspot. So hopefully you're finding, if it is the way around you've said, you can still access local repeaters and things, you haven't gone off piste for them. But I'm wondering if that's one further reason maybe I'm not getting Graham so locally as I am or should be. Don't quite see it, but I suspect the only thing I've not looked at is how on frequency is my radio. So we'll be having some investigation. Anyway, good news on the Kent local authorities meeting. And yes, you should kind of reinforce the point, VoIP and stuff like that. Again, if I ever get to getting the chance to set up the VoIP directory, which I think is the way forward, and all our individual models of voice over internet in various island locations would be able to connect to each other if possible. Right, quarter two, and while I'm not quite so time limited as usual for basketball, it is game day, so let's go for a second round. The only thing I did forget to say first time round is, as people might have noticed, it is getting colder. Gas demand is going up. UK gas storage is currently at 80%, but demand is going up, and the risks remain weather and human error for anything going wrong in our infrastructure. Right, back to Peter. Golf Juliet 8, Papa Victor Lima, G4, and I'll see you.
Yeah, thank you, Greg. Just a couple of things there. Temperature in Jersey at the moment is about 9.5 degrees, and our barometer is 1014, so it's quite high pressure at the moment. But it is clear an easterly wind. Because I wasn't sure what to set up on my radio here. Just let me know at some point, please. Back to you, G4 NRC from GJ8BV on the group.
Golf Juliet 8, Papa Victor Lima, G4 NRC returning. Okay, thanks for the weather, easterly wind. Yeah, I was out this afternoon setting up a multi-band vertical out of mobile whips, and it was cold. Didn't make the antenna work any better, but it was cold. Data modes on HFnet, we use FLDigi as the data software, and if you run RSID, it should self-identify the mode. Generally, we use Olivia 16500 to start. It's Olivia 16500. It's not quick, but it works down to minus 10 dB staccato noise level. So given lots of people's high noise floors, it's the one that is the sort of baseline mode. If we do go to anything JS8 is being looked at, that is sadly different software. And within FLDigi, we could switch to higher and faster modes. It usually depends on finding who's the weakest station. So Olivia 16500 is what you're looking for. Okay, thanks. Hopefully see you or hear you or otherwise on Tuesday. Right, Mike, any final from you? Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, G4 and RC over.
G4 NRC from G8EY. Yes, looking at the cold weather, the forecast is for 6 o'clock Wednesday morning to hit 0. So we've got freezing coming. Offsets, I've got 3 Anytone 878s, and they all need different offsets, so it's not just the hotspots that are the problem. When I saw the date for the EGM and AGM, I thought, yes, I can actually make this and do this all the time. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to get there by 10:30. Unfortunately, but that's my problem. From G8EY.
Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, G4 and RC. Yeah, I'm just not sure how quickly I'll have been back in the country. But like I said, I won't be, I'm certainly out of the country for most of the day before. I'm just not sure what time we get back, and holding down there isn't really an option for me. But not with work the following day as well. So, yeah, okay, acknowledged. And okay, on the Anytone 878, you're making me think now, is there something buried in my radio oddity software that is something I need to look at for offsets? I will compare somehow what I've got with the two radios, or 2 or 3 DMR radios I've now got here, to see what's more reliable. Okay, Mike, thanks for coming on. Next to Graham, G798, G4NRC, over. G4NRC, G798, yeah, okay, Greg, no problem. So viewing figures today, we've had a total of 30 views, so quite good today. There's 12 currently viewing the stream at the moment. Okay, the comments, Ian's comment before about the dark mode. Yes, you can play around with the colours, Ian. That's just the default colour and sort of theme it comes with. I only put it on today, so I've not had a chance to have a play myself here. A few glitches with the W0CHP software. I've noticed that when I update or when I alter the DMR gateway file and then reboot the system up to put it into play, it resets everything and goes back to the default settings. So I'm not going to reset it or reboot the system. I'm going to leave it running now and see how we go for the next week. I'll keep an eye on it. But all comments and what we can do for next week. Right, anything else? I don't think so. So back to you, G4NRC. Oh, yeah, sorry, one more thing. I have ordered two routers that will be compatible with the Arden network. So there's another one that's going to get on. G4NRC, G7AH. G7NH, G4NRC, brilliant. Okay, I think I'm up to 3 Arden nodes here in the house, and Trevor's current router. I'm getting one for Christmas, so I'm sneaking a 4th one in. The joy of proving what we're doing is that I reckon when we get this right, I'll be able to have my network running over a tunnel to Graham, but then I'll be able to stick something in a car and drive up to within range of his house and be able to access the network just as readily with no changes in any setups. So that's what Graham and I saw a few years ago when we started going down this DMR and Arden journey. DMR gateway settings not persistent on reboot. Yeah, I think we need to build a little list somewhere, Graham, of what we need to change on the instructions for getting the RAYNET-UK server on this. So thanks for that observation. Right, thanks for that, and thanks for doing the streaming. Back to Dave for a final. Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, what Alpha Victor Oscar. You're on a great deal for that this end, Greg. One thing I've just noticed popped up on Graham's comments. John Mack after Windy 6. I did try to answer you, but as he keyed up his hotspot, decided to turn itself inside out. So I don't know when I'm going to give him a shout this time round, Greg. But no, thanks for doing that, and hopefully catch you next weekend. Or have we got no, we haven't. I'm just looking at the dates, see if we've got a group match in between. Mike 7 now for Victor Oscar. Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4NRC. Okay, thanks for passing on the comments from John. Just a call on the second time around, just to see what happens. I'm in a curious space at the moment with Aaron that I'm being added to their membership list as an observer.
But I can't actually tell who's an Aaron member or not, so unless I actually see a call sign on their Slack chats from time to time, I haven't got a clue who's a member and who isn't. But that's just the joy of saying is have some international liaisons. Right, okay. Thanks for coming on, Dave. No, we don't have any group nets for a few days now, which is okay. Anyway, 7.3s, and let us know when you get around to testing the different lifestyle software yourself. Okay, to Trevor for a final. G4KUJ, B4NRC, over.
G4NRC in the group, G4KUJ. Yeah, okay, all stations. Very interesting discussions again this evening. Yeah, the only thing I haven't been able to do with my Arden nodes so far is make the internet work via, works very nicely. It's plugged into the when I plug it into the GSM system, which works well with Brandmeister, it doesn't establish the tunnel, so there's obviously something about perhaps the GSM provider has blocked some of the channels there. We need to sort of investigate that a bit further on. So that's but certainly plugged into the router, it works a treat. Cheers for now. This should be our next week, all being well. G4NRC, G4KUK.
Hello, calling 6U, calling 6U. The Lima 1, Guatemala,
seeing what ports are open and what aren't. Okay, Ian for a final. Golf 3, Zulu Hotel X-Ray, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G3ZHX, and I apologise for handing over to all. I should have handed over to you on the last server. A very interesting dashboard. The gateway activity seems to have frozen at 10 to 5, and it's now showing, it's just gone back to it, Delta Lima 1 Golf Sierra Tango on slot 2. No, it's back to me. I don't know what's going on. I'm not entirely sure I would want to go over to this dashboard anyway. Anyway, I will kick it all back to you now. And thanks for running the net. Thanks to Trevor for logging. Thanks to Graham for streaming. And this is G3ZHX, awaiting next week's network. Back to you, G3ZHX.
G3ZXX, G4NRC. Okay, yeah, I'm not looking at Graham's dashboard. I've got W0CHP in a corner of my other screen, so it throws up in now very large letters who's speaking at any instant in time, because I didn't explore too much myself, having only got it working this week. Okay, look forward to hearing you next week. You have put me in mind, though, as Christmas decorations start landing. Where are we at with nets over Christmas, and will we need any cover? So, yeah, Christmas Eve for our nets doesn't feel very sensible, neither does New Year's Eve. So, we'll have to have a think about how we do for nets over the winter period. Okay, 7-3 to you. Alan now for a final. Mike 0, correction, wrong, my bad. John, Echo India 6, India Zulu Bravo. Echo India 6, India Zulu Bravo. One of your hotspots back with us. G4NRC, over.
This is Echo India 6, India Zulu Bravo. Can you copy over?
Echo India 6, India Zulu Bravo. Loud and clear, John, over.
Good evening to all on channel. is trying to play in Royal, Road Hotspot Keynote. First time actually calling in to yourselves. I'm a member of Aaron over here in Ireland. I'm not really much active, lucky for us. We do a few nests every once in a while, but all good. This side of the pond, over.
Echo India 6, India Zulu Bravo, G4 and RC. Okay, yeah, good to hear from you, John. Glad your hotspots come back to life. You might have heard, while I'm on the Aaron Slack chat group, I don't always know who's a member and who isn't. But good to hear you. We usually get Tom, as you heard, calling in from time to time just to keep pace with things. In terms of not too active, well, you guys just do better at power outages and things from what I see than we do over here. A number of times I've seen John Ronan sort of do I'm going out to start the generator up. Not something that tends to happen here. However, good to hear you and maybe here in future weeks. Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3 stations left between me and a basketball game. Alan, Mike 0, Juliet Sierra Alpha, G4 and RC, over.
As usual, I'm able to take the hint. Sorry. Couple of 3 quick things then, really. My birthday now on the 31st would be nice, as New Year's Eve is my birthday. But yeah, I might not get too many on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. I believe hidden on the RAYNET web pages there is a whole section on the HF HF department, but I can't find it. The search unfortunately doesn't find anything. What is the website for all the HF part of RAYNET? What was the third one? The third one. Oh yes, very quickly, I did mention it earlier. This coming Sunday, this week today, is our last event of the year, a cross-country run with a new, yet to be disclosed location for control. So that'll be interesting. Still make it up as we go along, but the whole route is off the road. So we need 4-wheel drives to get round the course. Oh, we have to walk along the way. But looking forward to a great day normally. Back to you, Greg. G4LRC, M0JSA, well, thanks for you running the net.
Mike 0, Juliet Sierra Alpha, G4 and RC. I think actually if we can get a decent frost, it might make the 4-wheel driving a little bit easier. I think you'd want to be slightly sloppy driving. Good luck with that one next Sunday. Your birthday on 31st of December. I'm fairly convinced I will not be running a net on that. So I know I won't be in range or I'm actually allowed to use any radio where I will be. So we will need an alternative control for that if we go ahead. HF, our web address is dead easy. www.raynet-hf hotelfoxtrot.net www.raynet-hf.net and that has got, he says, clicking frantically, a number of tabs available, and there should be one which says which one's it under, never with one I expect it to be. Underneath About Us, there is a drop-down that says Scheduled Nets, and that gives you a clue what the battle order should be. But the mailing list is where it does all get sorted out the night before. Right, thanks Alan. So I've now got Philip, Mike India 0, Mike Sierra Oscar, G4 and RC, over.
G4 MRC, MI0 MSO, I'm going to try to hold you too long from your basketball game. Yeah, that's a nice wee comment there on the gas demand. It was up, and it was up in our house anyway, this past couple of weeks. And the storage of 80%, just on that topic. Within the last week, the supplier to the West and Northern Ireland here made an announcement that they have done the first ever direct-to-grid injection on the island of Ireland of biomethane, fully renewable energy source. Try and cut down the emissions and whatnot, and they hope to up that within the next period of time. So there's a lot of sources for methane over here from waste food and farmers manure and whatnot, and they're going to start pumping that onto the network, and allegedly it should make our gas prices here drop, which will be only too welcome. Just the EGM again, somebody mentioned they wouldn't make it for 10:30. I would say that's not an issue. If you can still make it, please try and make it. We do need a quorum, because the actual EGM will start about midday. There might be a talk or so you'll miss if you don't make it by midday, but the important bit is to be there for midday. Hope you don't mind me saying that, Craig. The important bit is to be there for midday. And I'm sure just back in the country the day before, Craig. So no excuses for not making the EGM. Hey. And nets, yeah, it would still be nice to have some sort of net or just an informal on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, just to touch base with everybody and make sure everybody's keeping well and whatnot. But I'll leave that up to your good self to maybe think about it. That's all from here for now, Craig, and 7-3 from Zone 11.
Making the 0 Mike Sierra Oscar G4 and RC returning. Okay, interesting on biomethane going into your gas grid. Don't think they've tried that here yet. What I was reading earlier was that there's a transatlantic aircraft flight going to go over, obviously, the Atlantic on recycled vegetable oil, cooking oil. So there is a more sustainable aviation fuel. But the question in the article is whether or not you can get enough spare cooking oils out of McDonald's and otherwise to make enough fuel to keep all the aircraft in the air. So yes, we need diversity of supply, but hopefully there's enough sources for the methane to make it sustainable in that you're not running out of the source material, as it were. Right, yeah, well, so I don't even know when I'm getting back in the country the day before. So that's a different challenge, but all noted. Right, so I'll talk to you next week, hopefully. And finally, it's Colin, 0 Charlie Mike Sierra, G4 and RC, over.
Yeah, 2 CMS. Yeah, okay, I'll try and keep it short. Regarding the offsets on the Anytone, the E878 UV2 Plus, yeah, the radio worked fine. I'd originally got a Zoom spot from one of the major radio suppliers, MLS, or MLS I should say, Marks and Spencers, and yeah, the radio worked fine with that originally, and then I didn't use the Anytone for a while after I bought a Radio Oddity. I bought a second Zoom spot to use in the car with the AD25, which works well. And then I splashed out on a DV Mega Genesis Node with a 7-inch touchscreen on it, which is a lovely piece of kit. Quite expensive, but it's a lovely bit of kit. But anyway, I fired up the Anytone radio again because I haven't used it for a while, and it wouldn't work with any of them. So I don't really understand why it would have drifted off frequency so far, but changing the offsets on it, and it all seems to work again now on all three. So it's got to be the radio rather than hotspots, because all the hotspots are actually tuned. Well, at least the latest one was definitely tuned because it comes like that from the supply. Apart from that, I haven't got anything to add, so I'll let you go for now. The only other thing I would say is that if you do make any offset adjustments, you need to update all the panels that use that hotspot in your radios. Anyway, thanks for running the net grid. We'll let you go now. T4 NRC 2E0 CMSK.
Echo 0 Charlie Mike Sierra, G4 and RC. Right, shall I figure out how to close that off in the log? Right, okay, that's coming. Noted that little hint down as well. I'll see how I get on. I've just been fighting on too many fronts at the moment with HF antennas, DMR, and 3D printer churning away in the background. It's also frustration. But we got there. Okay, bring the net to a close and go and be somewhere else. So thanks everybody for taking time out of your schedules to take part this afternoon. It's been a good chat. Be careful, have a good week. Until next Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time, I will now close the RAYNET UK weekly activity net on 23531 Pheonix and Brandmeister 502351 RAYNET server, and return those talk groups to being an open net rather than a directed net. All, this is G4NRC now closing and reverting to my normal call sign of Golf Zero, Golf Uniform Bravo, and then thank you. Bye-bye.